is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin' Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down, handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lord. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
And it is a Wednesday, a back-to-work Wednesday for the players here at the Star in Frisco, inside the SWBC Mortgage studio here. It is Talking Cowboys, and does Taco Tuesday grow into what would we call Wednesday? I'm not sure what we'd call Wednesday. But we survived a Taco Tuesday, and now the big mystery here is what happens with the Cowboys roster now that Robert Quinn is back at practice as the team heads out to the practice field at this hour. And they have until 3 o'clock this afternoon to make a roster move. And hello, Mickey. How are you?
I am doing fine. How are you?
Very well. How about you, Rob?
Doing well, sir.
And Brian Broaddus.
Bueno.
Brian, very busy over there.
Yeah,
He's
I'm sorry. I'm late on
Periscope up and running.
I'm late on Periscope. I'm sorry about that, folks. I really am.
And let's start with the fact that this is Dolphins week.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it is, in the words of a former Cowboys coach, Iowa State week.
Ah.
Oh.
In fact, it was 25 years ago next month that the Dallas Cowboys traveled to Cincinnati to take on Iowa State. And that was a close game. It was an 0-7 Iowa State Cyclone team, wasn't it, Mickey?
Yes, it was. And, it almost came back to nip them in the bud, huh?
Was that like the comment in the paper?
That was
going to play?
Oh, that's what
Barry
Switzer said.
You know, back in the day, there was one press conference a week for the head coach. There were availabilities after practice, but there was one of these that you just heard, the Jason Garrett press conference, which is basically a daily thing, which started, I guess, when did that start? Where it made it
every day?
Yeah. But Barry, okay,
well, Barry
in his
talked
weekly
after practice.
He would,
every
but
day.
there would be one where you're in the meeting room there, and it's a big deal. It was a Tuesday, and at his Tuesday press conference that week, as the Cowboys were preparing to play the 0-7 Cincinnati Bengals, Barry made the comment that it's kind of like when you go play Iowa State and getting your team ready to play a team that hadn't won a game, basically.
I think it's the daily thing started with Bill.
Okay. And that was because Bill was so good at these press conferences. So then what was very memorable, the Bengals played the Cowboys off their rear, and then the handshake after the game was interesting.
Was it David Shula?
David Shula.
Yeah.
Yeah. David Shula was the head coach of the Bengals, and he had some choice words for Barry in the post-game handshake. It was funny.
David Shula got fired from here after the 89 season, though, right?
He was an assistant
90?
here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
90.
But Shula was the coach of the Bengals, after that game. And it was a 23-20 game. It was a very close game. So the word of warning there is, despite the fact that the Miami Dolphins are 32nd in the league in offense, 32nd in the league in defense, once upon a time, the Cincinnati Bengals at 0-7 played the Cowboys off their feet.
Yeah, I feel like the only real chance that the Dolphins have in this game is if Ryan Fitzpatrick does try to turn this into a shootout. If he just goes toe to toe with Dak Prescott and both teams, can't. I mean, let's see, if Dallas can't get pass rush and Fitzpatrick gets the ball out, Devontae Parker's really their best option throwing the football down the field too. They're going to take some shots. They took some shots against Baltimore. They took some shots against New England. And Parker has the ability to elevate. He's a big, tall, long receiver that can go get the football. So we've seen, and I brought it up yesterday with Fitzpatrick, that he took an undermanned Tampa Bay team into New Orleans in Week 1 last season and turned it into a shootout type of a game where he dueled Drew Brees, and then they came away with a victory.
And Fitzmagic was born.
Yeah, see, that's where he's capable of lighting up a defense. If you don't get pressure on him, the ball comes out quick with him. Have they had success these first 2 games? Absolutely not. But that's the one hope that they have, that they, if Dallas doesn't get the pass rush, doesn't affect the way he throws the football, that he will sit there, get the shotgun snap, and just keep firing it. And that's their best chance to win. That's their only chance to win in this game.
That and taking the ball away.
Yeah.
You saw what happened. Washington takes I believe they scored first after a Dak interception, got the ball at the Dallas 38-yard line and was able to cash in. So, Cowboys have to keep their mistakes at a minimum as well.
Well, what you worry about is this team comes in with nothing to lose, right? So they can just zing it around and whatever. But let's put this thing in perspective. They've had 2 games, and they've totaled 23 first downs.
Yeah.
That's like, 11 and a half a game?
No, there's no question they've struggled. And that's why they're 0-2. Both these losses have been at home, though, too.
They've averaged 192 yards a game.
Yeah.
192, and they've averaged 160 yards a game passing. So Fitzmagic, I don't know when it's going to sprout up. But
2 pick sixes, I believe, last week.
Yep,
that he
in the
threw.
second half.
I mean,
against the
they
Patriots.
haven't been able to do anything offensively or defensively if you look at these numbers.
Have you ever seen a team or seen a Cowboys team go up against a team that is ranked last in the league in offense and defense? I realize it's just 2 games, but
It's probably happened, right?
I don't think I've ever
Maybe
seen
not
that.
dead last.
Yeah.
They just have trouble sustaining drives.
I mean,
they are
this-
5 of 25 on third down through 2 games.
59-10 followed by 43-0 doesn't happen in this league. I think maybe one time in history, because they matched an all-time record, getting outscored by 92 points in 2 consecutive games.
This league is a strange lady, boys.
Oh, I know you can't take anything for granted.
I never thought that New England would roll into Detroit last year and take an L. I mean, there's
right.
games that happen in this league,
right.
and I'm not trying to blow smoke up everybody's ass here and say that this game, I know Mickey's absolutely right. They're god awful. Okay. The chance they have, though, is they have a quarterback that's not afraid to throw interceptions. He's not afraid to throw the ball down the field. He's the toughest SOB quarterback I've ever seen in my life as far as taking hits and getting up and keep playing. And if Dallas does turn the ball over, but you don't know, trust me, I was on a team at LSU, 7th-ranked team in the country. It was beaten by Miami, Ohio, because we turned the ball over 5 times. It happens. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. We can roll through all these numbers, and everybody can agree on it. But
What was the score of the Dolphins-Patriots game last week with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter?
I believe it was 13-0.
It was 16-0.
16-0. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was 13-0 at halftime. So they were hanging in there.
Yeah.
And if you go back and look at the game, even early in the game, they've got a simple little third down conversion that the wide receiver just drops.
They had a tip ball. They had a tip ball that went. They threw the ball to their running back in the flat, and he knocked the ball up in the air, and they got a pick. Collins got a pick 6 off that. So, again, I'm just saying, though. I mean, will Dallas win this game? Yes, they probably will win this game. I just don't think that they're going to beat them 43-0.
And they played against 2 of the hottest teams in the league the first 2 weeks.
Well, now
the Ravens
they're playing the
and
third hottest.
Exactly.
There's no question.
They're
So,
also
on the road.
They're also a very young football team.
And getting younger by the trade.
I mean, yeah, Minka Fitzpatrick's one of them. But look at the moves they made at the end of training camp. They trade away Tunsil, they trade away Kenny Stills, they cut Dwayne Allen, Bryce Butler. There's a lot of they're starting over. They're getting very young, and that's a big part of why they've struggled in these first 2 games. And you're facing a Cowboys team that's young, but has gained a lot of experience in the last 12 months.
They traded away one other guy, too, by the way.
Robert Quinn.
Yeah. Everybody kind of leaves him out of the equation. That trade went down in March 28th. No, I wasn't talking to you.
Oh, okay.
I was talking to everybody else out there that's referring to the trades they've made.
Yeah.
And it's the trades they've made since the season started. They started getting rid of guys in the offseason, too. And all they got for Robert Quinn was a 6th-round draft choice.
We'll see if we'll see if Robert Quinn can do what he needs to do here.
And that segues us right into Robert Quinn talk here.
Very capable, yeah.
Well, they're going to, they seem pretty confident that the hand's ready to go. Now they got to see how much he can do. My guess is that he doesn't do more than what DeMarcus Lawrence did in the first game of the year. And I think his snaps were 32, 32, right?
Right.
So, and now, from what I understand, Crawford's probably not ready to go. 18 snaps last week.
Not probably. I think you are.
Yeah, I think he's out.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he's out. Crawford not practicing today tells me a lot, and then that's why I brought up the point yesterday about potentially keeping Taco if you're the front office because you're not sure what's going on with Crawford's injury. To me, I don't think Crawford's playing this game.
And
I
so,
just don't.
and if that's the case, if they don't keep Taco, then you understand how down they are on him,
absolutely,
on his attitude, and because it's almost like they need him.
Yeah.
But if they don't keep him, then I think that speaks volumes of what they think about.
They would rather go with everybody else but Taco, who we all talked about, and this by far was his best preseason since he's been here. But if they move on from him, but I liked what Mickey said yesterday or the day before. I believed it, but but Crawford's not playing. So now you start taking all these guys off the field for the Cowboys. By the way, this kind of evens the playing field a little bit. Thompson's playing safety today, maybe instead of Woods. Oh, okay. Robert Quinn's playing. Who's playing right in? Quinn and Dorrance Armstrong. Oh, okay. Who's playing? No.
So now you don't have Crawford to help out with the loss of Woods inside if he can't go.
Sure.
So now Tristan Hill's going to have to suit up.
Yeah.
And Christian Covington's your starting nose tackle.
That one doesn't bother me.
No, I'm just saying your depth is
the depth is You're playing a game with players that might be similar to what the Dolphins starters are. That's where you have to be a little bit cautious about this game as well.
I'm okay with Covington, but then what happens if you have one more inside?
No question.
Then
you've got Joe Jackson.
Collins
could
play. Malik Collins could play the one. And I think he's going to have to play the one this week,
and have Hill,
and he'll play the three.
The three,
yeah.
Well, Covington will play the one.
Covington will start,
but if you have to rotate,
they'll rotate guys through there.
And then you don't have the ability to move Crawford inside on passing downs to be a pass rusher. Next to Malik Collins. So you start getting, and then you're one injury away. So we hear all about this depth, and it's all great when you have all your starters there. But then when those guys are the starters, then what do you have? And they get a rash of injuries at the same position. You can get yourself in trouble.
People are on me on Periscope. They think I'm picking the Dolphins. I didn't say I'm picking the Dolphins. I'm just telling you folks.
It's just the NFL.
It's funny. I just glanced down. It's like Broadus is picking the Dolphins.
All you got to do is go ask the 1989 Washington Redskins.
I totally agree with that.
A team that should not have won
a
game
Newton about
all year long, and they went in there and ended up winning the game, 13-3 or some business like that.
Dallas will win this game, but to think it's going to be 43-0, I don't think so. Like I say, you start taking players out and playing with backup players, and Mickey made another point right there. You start playing with backup guys, now things start to be a little bit more equal. Is it going to be perfect? No, it's not, but it's a little bit more equal.
I mean, think about it at safety.
Yeah.
If Xavier Woods can't go, okay, good. We got Darian Thompson.
Yeah.
Well, now what happens with one more injury?
Yeah.
Then you're back there with Frazier or
Wilson,
Donovan Wilson.
Yeah, could be Donovan Wilson's time.
And then you start slinging it around, sort of what the Cowboys did to the Redskins, right? When they had the injuries at the cornerback position, no Dunbar, no Morrow. They had to have a rookie in the slot, Moreland, and then Rogers Cromartie gets hurt, and what did the Cowboys do? Hey, we're going three wide every play here because you don't have guys to cover us.
Don't forget about the wide receiver position because Gallup, while they have depth at receiver, and we saw it clearly with Devin Smith last week, what's Tavon Austin's status this week?
I think he's out.
It doesn't sound good, does it?
They had to make a move last week to account for him, and now you don't have Gallup at least for a couple weeks. So do they have to make another roster move to help your numbers at wide receiver? I feel pretty good about the overall group because the offense has been what it's been for 2 weeks, and they've still got weapons. Devin Smith is a proven commodity.
Sure.
But they may have to figure out their depth there as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's what did Pac-Man say in 2008? when they were playing the Rams.
It's the Rams?
It's the Rams, dude.
And it was one of the worst teams maybe ever. Now, they didn't have Romo.
Was that the
in that game.
Romo finger game? And
No,
Yes,
he was out.
He was out. He warmed up, but he didn't play.
Brad Johnson, right?
Brad Johnson played.
Couldn't have hit the broadside of a barn.
Still nobody gave the Rams a chance, and they kind of blew them out.
Because they were
my point is, to what y'all pointed out, it's the NFL and games. I don't think people realize how hard it is to win an NFL football game.
No question.
No matter who you're playing against.
No question.
It's the whole, I know it's the whole, they get paid too, but it's really true.
The Rams hadn't won a game that year.
Yeah. They changed the coach. It was Jim Haslett's
and it was
first game.
Haslett's first game.
Interim, yeah.
It's the Rams, dude.
It's the Rams, dude. It's the Dolphins, dude.
It was Brad Johnson, dude.
Yeah. So behind the scenes
Real
here,
dude.
as we approach a 3 o'clock deadline where they need to make a roster decision on who goes, what do you think they're choosing between?
Well, I think they probably already made it because whoever you're going to release, you're not going to practice them, right?
That's why I asked. I asked that question in the walk-off because I'm like, do you going to practice all your guys? He said for the most part. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, okay, who now we need to check and see who's not practicing today.
Well, it does make sense to wait because you get through this practice, and if somebody were to get hurt in practice, it might impact your decision on where your depth is and things of that nature. So I understand why they haven't officially made a move yet.
And I understand why the league has it where it's Wednesday at 3 o'clock where you make the roster move rather than Tuesday at 3 o'clock, because that way the suspended player, you can actually see him on the practice field to see where he is as well. But they got to make the move regardless.
Yeah. I don't get why it's Wednesday instead of Saturday for Zeke,
end of the week.
who did not report, but it is what it is. That's the NFL.
Someone want to go check out practice, or do we want to give it a couple of minutes and then
got a break, don't we?
We do have a break, but do we want to wait a couple of minutes to get to make sure everybody's out on the practice field so we can check to see who's not there, or go ahead and take
a long walk, you know?
It's like 10 feet away from us.
Mickey, take your phone and go out there on the practice field.
All right, and so we are going to take a break, and if we haven't determined who's not on the practice field by the time we come back, and maybe Mickey will join us live via his cell phone when we come back.
Your new apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not too...
It's right above the subway!
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus!
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store and learn how to buy one smartphone and get a second one on us. Based on GWS One score, September 2018.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Work the Cowboys way and channel the winning business tradition of the Dallas Cowboys and the Jones family at Formation. This dynamic workspace provides an elevated work experience on the Star's aspirational campus with exclusive membership options available to meet varying needs. Choose from open workspaces, dedicated desks, and private offices to leverage our home field advantage for your individual business success. Limited memberships are available now, so apply today at formation@thestar.com.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Don't miss your chance to see the Cowboys live at AT&T Stadium on Sunday at noon as they take on those Miami Dolphins. Get your tickets now at DallasCowboys.com. It is a Wednesday here at the Star in Frisco, and after a couple of days off, the Cowboys players back at it today and back out on the practice field. And Wednesday is an outdoor practice. They're out there right now. Mickey is checking it out. Brian and I went out there as well just to get a gauge on who is on the practice field and who is not on the practice field. And we had a 45-second glimpse of who's out there. And
my back hurts, so getting out of that chair is not
there
good.
You go.
I appreciate you guys.
Someone had to hold down the fort.
Need to follow David Hellman and those guys that are out there watching practice right now, because I'm getting reported Taco was not on the field. So we'll see if that in fact holds true.
Okay. We will keep checking that as we go along here. That may tip us off to something.
Yeah.
It's interesting though when you look at the Cowboys' pass rush in these first two games, and in fact, Jason Garrett even talked about it after the Redskin game, that they need to improve the pass rush. If the Cowboys have a healthy Robert Quinn, what does that do for their pass rush?
Well, if it's a healthy Robert Quinn, he gives you another weapon on the outside. He gives you a different dynamic than what you have from Crawford. Now, Crawford would continue to start. If Crawford was healthy, he would still continue to be your right end. And then situationally, you would see Quinn come into the game and rush, and they kick Crawford down inside. So then you'd have Collins, Crawford, Quinn, and Lawrence as your four primary pass rushers. So Robert Quinn still has something left in the tool belt. He's still got something left in the tank, but he's got stuff in the tool belt. You need to start talking about how Lawrence rushes with all the different variety of moves that he goes with, the rips, the swims, the dips, the stutter step that he used. Robert Quinn's very similar that way himself. So now you have two pass rushers that have that kind of ability. If Robert Quinn can go back to his days, and we've seen him at Miami have a little success. The Rams is where he had his big success, rushing, getting that wide 9 technique and coming off the edge and then causing problems there. He's fresh. He's healthy. The hand, everybody feels like the hand is going to be in good shape, ready to roll. So we'll see how it all plays out for him. But, yeah, he still can rush the passer. He's still capable of affecting the pocket. And now you have two legitimate. You get the push from the inside, and you have guys like Lawrence and Quinn and those guys coming off the edge. The pass rush will improve in that way. They just have not. They played against a couple of quarterbacks that are veteran, savvy quarterbacks that go back, ball out of hand. Get back, ball out of hand. Get back, ball out of hand. And they'll play another one this week that's that way too. This guy will get rid of the ball quickly. But, yeah, as you can see in the highlights right there, his ability to break down tackles, I think, is where he's made a living throughout his career. That lanky ability to kind of move, keep the blockers' hands off him, and then allow him to rush the passer.
Is he an underrated run defender as well, too?
Yeah, it's hard got to get around the edge because for how much he plays up the field, he's able to keep things wide and not allow you to hook him. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why though they really like Crawford over there.
Well, that's where I was going.
Yeah,
because he's that edge setter on the right side. Right. If you don't have him, you need somebody that can do that.
Yep.
In
Absolutely.
this game, perhaps.
And the concern on Crawford is how long is he going to be bothered by this hip injury?
Yeah, this is already week 3, and here we go. And we've got a long season here as we all. So yeah, it's going to be about managing him. And again, it's a game against the Dolphins this week. You probably sit him and get him ready for New Orleans and the Saints, and then the Packers the following week after that. I mean, this is just not going to be easy for a lot of these guys. That Britt Brown and the training staff done a really good job with all these guys at getting them back on the field and trying to give them a chance to at least have some success as healthy players.
He's a tough dude. I mean, he has played with a lot of stuff in the past, shoulder, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, he's probably in that mix. They gave him practice off Wednesday last week, and when he does get back, if it's this week, if it's next week, you may have to manage him. That's probably they're going to have a plan for Sean Lee. They're going to have a plan for probably Zach Martin throughout the season to get through the back injury that he's got as well.
See anything out there?
Yes, I did not see Tyrone Crawford out there, and I did not see number 97 out there either.
That makes sense.
And we have not heard a injury on him, so maybe they just decided that's it.
Yeah. Well, I thought we had a good plan though yesterday.
I did too.
I mean,
so that tells you what I said earlier.
There's
there's level of dissatisfaction.
There is clear dissatisfaction. The general manager came out yesterday and said he had not given up on the player. So that just tells you the potentially the avalanche of, and like Mickey said, he's a healthy player. So it's not not something that all of a sudden we found out Taco, burned his hand cooking last night or something like that. He's not here for a reason. And so if that's the case, and they have injuries at defensive end and a brand new player coming in, that just tells you right there that they are ready to move on. And so
I believe I said it yesterday, like at what point does this come to a head? And we'll see if it does. But, when you take to social media, and what does Jason Garrett always say? I mean, it's the guiding light is this roster and what's best for the team. And when you go to social media and you voice your displeasure, that puts you at odds with the organization. Now, that kind of stuff can be repaired, but it made me curious of like, how do you go about repairing, and at what point can you do that? And maybe we're at that point. I don't know.
And when you ask questions about no Crawford, Quinn can't play the entire game, it's like, well, Armstrong, Kerry Hyder, Joe Jackson, and what about the other guy? So now, and I don't know if he's playing his hand this way or not, because the way Taco might be looking at it, or his agent, if he clears waivers, if they indeed make him the guy that's released to make room for Quinn, his $1.376 million base salary is guaranteed.
Yep.
So they got to pay that.
They do.
In a first-round pick.
$480,000 of it next year is guaranteed. So they have to pay that. And then you have prorated signing bonus still for next year that will go into your cap. So it's an expense. If you traded him immediately, it was going to be $4 million. So that also would tell you their level of dissatisfaction, and maybe not with his performance, with everything else.
Yeah.
But again, I'm saying if he clears waivers, he's still going to make as much money as if he was here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, from his standpoint. And then if you're thinking, well, surely you could get a 7th-round draft pick for him or something in a trade, that's the big thing. His base salary at $1.8 million, the team that takes him on in a trade would be responsible for that salary.
But guys, for a guy that's a pass rusher,
that's cheap.
That's really cheap.
But when you know that the team is going to release him,
the only difference is if you don't want to fight other teams.
You don't want to fight other teams, but you're also looking at a guy that holds a 5th-year option too. So, if he magically continues, maybe he develops somewhere else.
And a guy who did show something in the preseason.
There's no question. If you watch his preseason tape from this year, you're going to say he looks like a different player. Though on that Rams game, he looks like a different player. And so, with all that being said, somebody might say, hey, at $1.8 million, we could do a lot worse of claiming this contract. We could do a lot worse. So hey, Mickey's right about this. There's clearly a big divide between him and coaches, teammates, But again, I'm just taking Jerry Jones to his word that he says, hey, I haven't given up on him, but he's Jerry Jones. We accuse him of just acting out and doing what he wants to do. Well, this case, he's saying, hey, listen, I'd like to keep this guy if we could. And then they're saying, no, we need to move on.
For what it's worth, Ian Rappaport just tweeted the Cowboys are still keeping the door open for a possible trade of Taco. But if nothing comes to fruition, they plan to move on from him.
There you go.
So
him not practicing today is about to preserve his health in case they have to trade him. If it doesn't work at 3 o'clock today, then there'll be an official release maybe that says that they've activated Robert Quinn and they've put Taco Charlton on waivers.
Well, they got to do something if Quinn's going to play Sunday.
Exactly.
So you have to part ways with somebody.
Or if he's going to practice tomorrow.
Right.
That too.
Yeah.
So
and again, you always run the risk of a guy going out there and all of a sudden going, oh,
Yeah.
Right, hamstring.
And then now, yeah, exactly.
Keep your options open. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I mean the guy you're getting ready to get rid of.
Well, that too, but I mean,
if you think you're that guy, you come up with a phony injury so you can get paid some more. But he's going to get paid anyway, so
yeah.
That's the beauty of being a first-round draft pick.
And getting guaranteed money, right?
Mm-hmm. And these days, first-round draft picks all get guaranteed money. So
see,
there you go.
So everybody that says, see what teams do, everybody should have guaranteed money, but sometimes it backfires on you too. It helps the player.
All these first-round picks do have guaranteed money now.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see. This is not going to be the first contract that we see that somebody's got a guarantee that's a first-round pick. It's just the way these contracts. It's a way of getting these guys into camp early. But it's also now the guaranteed money is going to be something that people have to deal with.
But to your point about a team who maybe would acquire him,
sure,
okay, and
he's got to go through waivers.
Base salary.
Yeah.
They can also look at it this way: that if he went through waivers, what they're paying in his base salary is only about $1 million more than what they would be paying him if they claimed him off waivers.
No question.
So,
no question.
And if you're a team like the Dolphins who need players,
Rob's right though. You might not just you might not want to just fight. You don't want to fight. Maybe it's like if it costs us a seventh round pick, a conditional seventh round pick, just to take a look. If Taco's active 4 games, then we'll give you a 7. There's nothing. That's smart football.
If your roster is very depleted in pass rush, maybe you go ahead and you make a move, especially if you've got maybe a bundle of picks.
Yeah. People have compensatory picks too. You can trade those now too as well.
Yeah. See, and the other thing we don't know what's going on in that locker room.
Yeah.
He might have ostracized himself from his teammates.
That's what I said yesterday. I don't know that. I was asking the question, like, how does that play in with your teammates? And when you walk back into the building and you've said, I assume that's what he meant, free me. Like, I don't know if it meant I want out of here or I just want to play on Sunday. But either way, how does that play with your teammates? How does it play with your coaches? That's the question I had, because it's 3 weeks into the season. Everybody's all in right now. Everybody's all in for what you're trying to do.
Why do I think, though, and I was listening to what you were saying, why do I think this is just the cherry on top? 3 years of steadily building to this moment.
He's
a different cat.
Well, he's also extremely frustrated.
Sure he is.
After that, and not just.
But that's on him too, though.
I know.
Yeah, that's on him.
Not just with the team, but it goes back to what Jerry was saying on the Fan yesterday. The expectations that come with being a first-round pick. And that's part of your job. You're professional. Mickey said you're getting paid either way.
Right.
But he said, remember after the preseason opener in the 49ers visiting locker room, he really kind of opened up about it. How, I've stopped worrying about what people think about me, because if I play,
very sensitive guy.
If I play poorly, I'm terrible. If I do good, it's like, that's not going to last.
And then he said,
he sounded like a guy that would be open to a fresh start back then.
And remember he made the mention out of the blue. No one asked him. He goes, "Yeah, and me and my agent have talked about this."
Yeah.
It was kind of cryptic.
It was cryptic, and it was like, oh, okay, but there might have been more to it than that.
Yep.
Interesting.
It's on him, though, too. I'll say that again.
Absolutely, Brian. You got to go out there and perform.
And I'm not trying to jump on you or Mickey or anybody else, but I'm just saying, though, we talk about him in a positive light, like, oh, he had a really nice preseason this year.
Yeah.
Well, what about the first year, the second year? I mean, there were flashes, but no consistency. And that's a problem,
Hey, the opportunity is there for him right now here. With Tyrone Crawford's injury, there is an opportunity. The Cowboys would love to have a former first-round draft pick who is bought in and acting in a professional manner, whatever.
Byron Jones?
Who they can plug in a rotation with Robert Quinn this week at right defensive end.
I see what you're saying. Now, I was just about a guy buying in.
I mean, the Cowboys don't want to do anything with Taco Charlton, but it's come to this point, apparently.
Yeah.
So, all right, we continue with more Talking Cowboys in just a moment.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit bettermoneyhabits.com.
It's time for tailgating with the OtterBox boys.
The OtterBox that builds those crazy protective phone cases?
Yup, and now they're changing the side dish game with the OtterBox Trooper Soft Cooler. Lightweight, mobile, and leak-proof, Trooper is perfect for blitzing a crowded parking lot with a Frito pie.
Amazing. Hey, you think I could fit my 7-layer salmon salad into the Trooper cooler?
Yup, but please don't.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Learn more about the Trooper Soft Coolers at otterbox.com.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine a surging river of ice-cold Dr. Pepper, roaring with carbonated mists of desire. You're dangling above it, upside down, like a fishing lure in the wind. 23 flavors tickle your nose, but the river is too far away to taste. Dr. Pepper calls to you. You.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
And if you go to Jack Black, you're going to find out that big things do come in big packages. Cool, moisture, body lotion, and beer lube conditioning shave. They now come in 33-ounce size, so they biggie size some of their best products. So you don't want to miss this once-in-a-year opportunity. There's limited quantities. So if you want those big sizes of the body lotion and the beard lube, go to getjackblack.com.
Beard with a D.
Was it beer lube?
Beer lube.
Good read, Mick.
Yes, that was, Mickey. You ad-libbed that one well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Straight off the page.
No, there's no copy here.
No.
Yeah.
There's just points.
All
but
right.
you know what? You're all welcome to do this if you want and see how you all do.
Mickey, I look forward to this every day.
I'm gonna try and pronounce some of those words that you threw at us last week.
That's right. I can bring that one to you.
Do that. That would be fun.
Y'all remember the phone number?
888-855-2297.
If anyone who would like to give us a call there. Anything going on Periscope? Brian, anything going on Periscope?
No,
what's Woody Woo up to?
Woody Woo's not. They're arguing with each other on Periscope. People are like they're talking about though that, and maybe I could throw it out there, but they feel like though that wouldn't you like to have seen Taco instead of Joe Jackson? Is Joe Jackson done enough for you in these first couple of games to maybe think that, hey, wait, maybe Taco needs a crack? I know it's because of the flexibility. We haven't seen him play tackle yet, but was it just so far gone with Taco that he was never going to get a shot?
I don't know, because what we kept hearing in camp was he's coming along, he's playing hard, he's playing pretty well, and then all of a sudden he's inactive for week 1.
Yeah.
That came as a surprise to me. But you're right about the position flex, and it may be more important now because of Tyrone and Antoine, depending on what their status is, if they both can't go this week.
Yeah.
We're talking about a player in Taco Charlton who was a 2017 first-round draft pick, meaning the Cowboys still had him under control for the next 3 years, including this year.
Sure.
And another team would too.
Absolutely.
That wants to acquire him in a trade.
That's why to trade so you just don't have to fight. If you're a pro personnel guy and you're sitting in an organization, you're saying, listen, this is who we're playing with. You guys keep telling me about our team. Look at our team. Say I'm at the Buccaneers or someplace like that. And I'm saying, you guys keep telling me you don't like our ends. You don't like this guy. You don't like this guy. I'm going to give you a guy. I'm going to give you college guys. Tell me what you had on the reports. Well, we kind of thought he was this. Okay, let me show you this film of the Rams game. Let me show you what he's capable of. Let me show you what we might be getting here if we claim this guy. That's the sell job for pro guys around the league. And maybe that's something like a pro guy saying, "Hey, maybe we do need to trade for this guy. Let's kick a conditional 7 to them and try and get this guy and see if we can make it work."
And I need to correct myself. Mickey said it right. He's at $1.4 million this year, $1.8 million next year.
Exactly.
So if you acquired him in a trade, so you basically have him take off the 2 games he's already missed or already been paid for this year. I mean, you're basically looking 2 years, $3 million is what you'd have him for, plus another option.
To me, that's a sell. That's a good sell if I'm a pro guy at another team trying to get this guy. Or
if I'm his agent trying to sell
Yeah,
him.
I think.
And if he doesn't work out, you let him go and you're not on the hook.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you go a conditional 7 to Dallas, you go to conditional 7 and you say, okay, if he's active 4 games, we'll give you a 7 in 2021 or 2000 whatever. I mean, that'd be next year, but you just do it.
Yeah. At this point, absolutely.
Yeah. So now you're at a point where you're saying, okay, we could take a look at this guy for 3 weeks. If he doesn't work out,
well, you would be on the hook. You inherit his contract, so you would be on the hook for the guaranteed money next year too.
But it's not that much. It's like a rookie minimum.
But that's what I'm saying, though. You have a player that you have control over, and he might be better than the guy you're running out there every week that's causing you to lose football games.
So I was trying to go through my memory bank that fades when you get older. I don't remember a Cowboy being released mid-season who was a first-round pick.
We talked about it at lunch.
I know guys that didn't finish their contracts, and you had to go back to 82 with, was it Rod Hill, first-round pick? He only played 2 years here.
Yeah.
So Bobby Carpenter finished his deal.
Bobby Carpenter finished his 4 years.
Mo Claiborne did.
Mo did. Felix Jones did. Mike Jenkins did.
I thought they traded Bobby Carpenter to the Rams for an offensive lineman. And then that offensive lineman had the holding call in the Roy Williams game-winning touchdown. Ended the game.
See, young memories.
Yeah.
I am blanking on that, kid. You might be right.
Got you on that one.
I know
Colombo got injured, I want to say, and so they put that guy in. It was game 1 against the Redskins, and Romo hit a game-winning touchdown, but the refs called it back, and so it didn't count.
I don't know. Where's Wikipedia when you need it?
That wasn't the guy that had the heart attack, was it?
I don't.
Alex Barron.
Yes, Alex Barron.
That wasn't him.
But regardless, you can't think of one.
Okay,
not after just 2 years.
Not after 2 years. He was Bobby Carpenter was traded for Alex Barron.
Yeah, he's right.
And after the 2009 season, and he was an 06 draft, first round pick, 06, 7, 8. So it was after his third year.
So he was in his 4th year.
Going into his 4th year. Very good.
Old Caden Gates.
So two guys
coming through there. We might allow you on the show more often, Caden, with input like that.
2 guys were let go after injuries. Mike Sherrod had 2 broken legs, so he only played 1 year. And then Billy Cannon Jr. had a neck injury his rookie year in '84. And
what about the center Robert Shaw?
He had to retire. Robert Shaw.
That was a center from Tennessee.
He had an injury, didn't he?
He had an injury, though. That was like 79.
Yeah,
somewhere.
He was a good player.
Yeah.
He wasn't a bust. He had an injury.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Mark in Nebraska here on Talking Cowboys. Hello, Mark.
Hey, how's it going?
Great.
Good.
I was just curious. So I know that most of the organization's a real Jeff Heath supporter. I know he's a good guy who works hard and everything, but I think he takes bad angles and he cares more about a hit than he does a tackle. But I was just thinking Jalen Ramsey wants out. We spent a first round on Amari. We're going to re-sign him, hopefully. I know that it's premature given that we just did it last year, but is there any chance that we make a move for Jalen Ramsey? Because we wanted him anyways.
Yeah, but if things hold true, if they're in fact looking for 2 first-round picks, then I think the Cowboys, trust me, I was in the administration that last time gave 2 first-round picks for a player. And the owner wanted to strangle everybody in that room at that time. So, yeah, I don't, to me, this is what I said. I said this on 105.3 yesterday. I would be very comfortable trying to work a deal with Byron Jones. And I'm saying this with all sincerity. To me, I know what Byron Jones is. I know what he can bring in this locker room. I know how he goes about his job. I know how hard he plays. But I also know that what I would worry about is if you traded for Jalen Ramsey, yeah, you get a great player, no question. Jalen Ramsey is going to hold out on you the very first opportunity he gets.
Like next year.
Yeah, he is immediately going to say, I want $20 million. I'm not going to play for this rookie deal. You have to pay me. And then so all of a sudden now all this work that you've tried to do to kind of manipulate your cap and make it work with all your players, one of the reasons why you have one of the better teams, better rosters in the National Football League is because you've got guys that have been willing to take some deals. So that's where I think, to me, I don't see them giving up 2 1s. The reports are a team is offered a 1 and a 5, a team's offered a 1 and a player. I just don't think that you can creatively come up with a package that Jacksonville would be happy with other than 2 first-round picks. And I just don't see this organization doing that. I would do everything in my power to try and re-sign Byron Jones to the best deal you can get for him and the best deal you can get for yourself and play with him. I know what type of player he is. I know what type of person he is. And I want him in my locker room.
Professional. And I like Jalen Ramsey going into the draft. And
no question.
And since then, I figured out what kind of person and personality he is. And the Cowboys hit a home run with their pick of Zeke Elliott.
And by the way, just one other thing on that. You go ahead and give up your first-round pick, and the day tomorrow you're going to say next year, boy, I've got a hole. I need to draft somebody. They don't need a cornerback.
Talking Cowboys continues tomorrow. The break is next.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?